You know what time it is? It's time to hang out with Mr. Coop. With Mr. Cooper, with Mr. Cooper, with Mr. Cooper. Get the latest scoop from Mr. Cooper, from Mr. Cooper, from Mr. Cooper. Hang with Mr. Coop, with Mr. Cooper, with Mr. Cooper, with Mr. Cooper. Get the latest scoop from Mr. Cooper, from Mr. Cooper. Yeah.
Welcome to the Big Scoop with Coop. I'm your host, Coop. Season 11 still going strong, people. If you haven't, make sure you go to the website, thebigscoopwithcoop.com, to catch episodes from season 1 all the way up to now. Big shout outs to everybody that's watching on Facebook, facebook.com/The Big Scoop with Coop. Big shout outs to everybody that's watching on Instagram at Big Scoop with Coop. Also catch me on TikTok, people. That's right, at The Big Scoop with Coop. And don't forget YouTube, people. That's right, I'm on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/The Big Scoop with Coop. Make sure you click like and subscribe so you don't miss one episode of The Big Scoop with Coop. All right, people, enough about me. Today's guest, you've seen her. She has graced your television screens, especially throughout the 90s. And even currently today, she has a new show that's out. But you have seen her also on Showtime at the Apollo. She is the co-host of the Showtime at the Apollo. She has seen so many memorable things on that show. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Kiki Shepard. Now, like I said, Kiki is doing a lot of big things. Miss Shepard has a foundation out. It's called the KIS Foundation. She's going to talk about that. She's going to talk about her time at the Showtime at the Apollo. She's going to talk about her dance career when she actually performed with Aretha Franklin. So much we're going to talk about. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Kiki Shepard. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. How you doing?
Now, I'm doing well. I'm in North Carolina, so I'm enjoying this spring/summer weather. So I'm glad the winter is gone. How's your day so far?
Ditto. Wonderful weather, spring/summer. It's more like spring because it starts all hazy in the morning. But now this time, it's lovely sunshine in lovely Cali, so I'm happy.
Woo! The state that I want to be in right now. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, yes. Now, Kiki, we're going to start this show off. You've been doing big things in the industry, especially with Showtime and the Apollo. So we're going to start with the first segment of the show. It's called Have You Heard? So I'm going to tell you a quote that Chris Rock said himself. And let me know if you heard this or not.
Okay.
All right. This is from Chris Rock. I love the Apollo. My biggest TV special, Bigger and Blacker, was filmed at the Apollo. It was probably the best I've ever been in my life. That night, something just happened. It sounds corny, but the Apollo is just a magical place. Have you heard that before?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I've heard that. It's funny. We were doing Showtime at the Apollo. We were shooting it during the time that he did his special at the Apollo Theater. Can I tell you a quick story?
Of course.
Chris came and he was getting ready to do his show. And I don't know exactly how it happened because I wasn't there, but I was later told that he said, we need some more light. Chris and I are very similar color. Chris said, I need some more light. Chris put a whole row of lights around the bottom of the first balcony. That just lit him up on the stage so beautifully. And he left them there when the show was over. They stayed there. Little did he know is that benefited us, Showtime at the Apollo, so much because one of the problems we always had shooting me when I did the Apollo Minute sitting on the steps was that the cameras and the lights were coming from above. They would come down and my eyelashes would always be on my face because of the light. It wasn't enough light. And when Chris put that row of lights from his special, that solved the problem. The next time we shot the show and I sat down those steps, they said, oh my goodness, how wonderful. So I thank Chris Rock for doing that. He's right. It's something magical about that theater. And the things that he did ended up flowing over onto me and made my time with Showtime at the Apollo even more magical. So I thank him for that.
Man, big shout outs to Chris Rock. Thank you for bringing those lights. You enhanced the show. Now I wish the show was back. I really miss that show. Yes,
I really miss it.
I do.
I wonder would it work now in this time when you have the American Idols, you have The Voice, you have all of these competition shows, for singing and stuff. But the thing about it, Showtime at the Apollo, is that it wasn't just for singing. It was singing, dancing, acting, comedy, all of that. The amateur night encompassed all of the different genres of entertainment, So I wonder would it really work the same way if it came back now?
It would. 'Cause I will tell you why, Kiki, because
Please
if you
tell me
think
why.
about it, there's one show, and they're going to kill me for not remembering the show. What is it the one that Nick Cannon used to host? Um,
No, wait, no, wait.
I know
Nick,
I just named
Nick,
100.
okay.
The one where you could become a star, where you can do so many different acts on stage.
Was it Big Break? Oh,
No, I think Terry Crews ended up doing it right after Nick Cannon.
oh, you mean yes, I know. Yes, with Simon and
Yes, yes.
how can I
So,
not remember the name of it? That's
see,
terrible. We're terrible. Cool. We are terrible. We should know. Uh, uh, uh.
I don't know. I can't call
I
the
can
name
see
of the
it right in
show.
front of my face, and I can't.
Oh man, I cannot call the show. Um,
You
it,
know that's what we all know what we're talking about. Where Simon
exactly.
yeah, that
Yes,
one. Yes, yes.
ladies and gentlemen worldwide, if you know the name of the show, just comment below. We'll
Okay, holla at
we'll
us.
get
You
it.
know.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the closest thing that we have to Showtime at the Apollo.
Yeah, because it's all different kinds of art. Yes,
Right.
yes, of
Right.
performing arts. Yes.
Right. So if Showtime and Apollo had a baby, that's what that was right there. That show right there. To
That's a
be
mighty
true.
big baby.
You got that right. Hey, they never come out all small all the time. They sure don't. And Kiki, that's why I said I believe this show will work still, because if you can bring back other shows,
Mhm.
you can bring this back. And this,
Well, they've tried a number of times. They've tried to do
yeah.
different versions of it and stuff. And it's sort of like, it's kind of difficult to improve upon a classic. So there are certain elements that you have to have, like the Sandman, you have to
Mhm,
have the amateur night,
mhm,
you have to have the guests, the artists, the comedians and stuff.
mhm.
But it's something about trying to redo a classic that oftentimes is very, very difficult. So maybe what they should do is do a show that's like Showtime at the Apollo, but call it something else so that people will not expect a regurgitation of what was. They will be ready for a whole new show with
Mm,
the same elements and call it, as opposed to Showtime at the Apollo, maybe holler at us at the Apollo. Something, just something that makes you still have a memory of what it was, but you're able to accept a new version. Because now, man, there's so many new things, so many things that we
true,
didn't have access to, just technology itself
true,
can
true.
make you show a different way. But it's kind of hard when you don't have Sandman. There's really
That's
no
true.
Sandman, but Sandman. So you have to have something else that's representative of that, but stands in its own space, stands in its own place.
But we still got Kiki, we still got Steve around. So I mean, it could.
Can you afford Kiki and Steve?
Woo, okay, that's a different subject at a different time. That's a different subject.
Because just like that was then,
Right.
you know how much Steve has grown. Yeah, I mean, Steve just, but both of us have progressed and gotten more and more things in our lives in now.
That's
So
true.
to come back, to not to come back, but to come to that place and do another version of it and stuff, all of that is encompassed in who you have in front of you now. So
That's
you
true.
have to pay for that.
You're right.
All of that knowledge, all of that experience, all
Yeah,
of that history that is embodied in those people.
that's true. And ladies and gentlemen that's watching worldwide right now, I want to show you the reason why Kiki is worth the amount that she is. So Kiki, I'm going to ask this first question right here so they can know. When did you first realize that you want to actually get into the television industry?
That I actually, what, say that again?
Wanted to get into the television industry.
Oh, okay, the television industry. I can honestly say while I was dancing on Broadway, this is going to age me, but everybody can Google my age now anyway, so it don't matter. I danced on Broadway for 10 years in the 80s and to a couple of years into the 90s. And while I was dancing on Broadway, I did another couple of films and things, and I was doing theater. I worked for 10 straight years on Broadway, which was very, very good. I had no complaints about it. It just is, that's a dream come true. But everything that I had done in those 10 years, there was nowhere else for me to go because I was not a fantastic blow you out the place singer. I could dance my behind off. I could act a little bit, but I was learning that craft as well while I was in New York, but I could kick for sure. But in order to go into television, it's a smaller medium than the stage. It's a whole nother thing. So the acting is what made me understand that to go into television and film, I had to learn how to do that. So I'd say maybe 1988, 1989, I started saying, this is what I want to do. And then I moved to Los Angeles in 1993 or 1994, somewhere in there, to,
Wow.
to actually pursue that.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And you see, ladies and gentlemen, what she's done ever since then. She has been blowing up everywhere she goes. She definitely have. You have.
You're
Now,
so sweet, Coop. Can
hey,
you
I'm
come home with
speaking.
me? I
I
just need
will.
you to talk to me every day, just like that.
I got you. I got you. Let me pack my bags because you about to leave off tomorrow. So I gotta
Hey,
pack my bags and get there.
hey.
Now, Kiki, how did it feel to actually dance or perform for Aretha Franklin?
I performed with Aretha Franklin.
Well, that's what I meant.
With Aretha Franklin.
Yes.
Let's see, how do I say this? Okay, the choreographer that pulled me in to work with Aretha Franklin, he had worked with Aretha for years, but he also was the first person when I was in college at Howard University in Washington, D.C. He was the first person, I was with the dance company. He pulled me out of the chorus for my very first solo. His name was Louis Johnson. So he saw in me that ability to be extra, that I was extra special. And he began to pour into me and help me to understand what. So when I came to New York, everything that he would do, that's how I got the Wiz movie. I saw him on the subway and he said, "You're in New York now?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Come on." 3 days later, I was working on the skeleton crew of the Wiz movie and then doing the Wiz movie and stuff because of he knew what I was capable of that I didn't know. So when I was in New York, he was working with Aretha. He said, "We're gonna do Aretha at so and so. We're gonna do Aretha. Come on, Kiki." You know, that's when you always happy to have a choreographer as a dancer. Happy to have a choreographer that says, "I know she can do what I need to do. Here, you got a job." I think I auditioned for one, I'd say maybe two at most, 1 or 2 jobs when I came to New York. After that, I got called for everything. So that was testimony to the fact that I was pretty good. I was pretty good.
Okay,
and I was
take
a
the
little
pretty
bit
word off. You was
okay.
good. You was great.
I was fantastic.
Thank you. Give yourself credit.
But that's how I got to dance with Aretha Franklin. And check this out. Let me tell you something else that little few people know. While I was in Washington, D.C. at Howard University, I was with a dance company called the DC Repertory Dance Company. Louis Johnson was one of our choreographers. He choreographed a ballet. Louis Johnson is that same choreographer that worked with Aretha, that pulled me into Aretha, okay? But in DC, before I ever came to New York, he did a ballet called When Melinda Sings. It's a poem by Paul Laurence Dunbar, When Melinda Sings. And he chose 5 divas and each one of us had a verse. It was Leontine Price, Roberta Flack, Aretha Franklin, Lena Horne, and Nina Simone. Guess who was Aretha Franklin? Moi.
Good God.
Look at God work, man. Look at God work. Louis Johnson put a ballet on me as Aretha, where I played Aretha Franklin in college. When I was in college, moved to New York. He's working with Aretha, pulls me in. I get to perform with Aretha Franklin.
Good gosh.
That's called God, baby.
That's called God.
That's called God.
If connect the dots was a person, it's God. That's who did that.
I am a firm believer. I know that
Yes.
everything that has happened to me, just like we'll get to talk about it, but just like it's Showtime at the Apollo, how that happened and how I ended up being the only person that stayed with the show after the whole progression of the first year, wasn't nothing but God, dude. Wasn't nothing but God.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. And since you brought it up, let's go on and talk about it right now.
Wait a minute. What happened to Did You Hear? Have You Heard?
Have You Heard? The Chris Rock.
That's the only one we're going to do?
That's the only one we're going to do right now. I know
I'm glad I'd heard it.
I know you want more, but no, we only do one, Chris. We only do one. Have You Heard? That's what I'm talking about.
Let's go.
All right. Now, once again, you have seen so much at Showtime at the Apollo.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you tell some people some of the memorable moments that you remember from Showtime at the Apollo, from that whole long career?
You know, there are 3 or 4 things that happened that I have to admit I remember well. I remember when Steve Harvey first came, and he did that joke about the eye. That blew the audience away. Okay, we had our very first significant host with the very first 2 years. We had guest hosts. I think it was 2 years, 2 seasons. And then because we shot in August and then we shot again in January. So back in that day, we did 24 shows a season. Can you believe that? We did 24 shows a season. We did 12 in September and 12 in January. 24 shows was a season. So we originally had a lot of guest hosts come in and stuff. Bill Cosby. I mean, just anybody that was big came in and hosted the show. Whoopi Goldberg even. She ended up coming back later, but we had big people that would come and individually host the show. I mean, some names that I was like, whoa. So, but then we got Sinbad. He was our very first host. And when Sinbad came in, that's how we made a cohesive link between me, the host, and the co-host. Sinbad hooked that up. After Sinbad left, after I think 2 or 3 years, then came Mark Curry. Mark Curry stayed 2 years. Mark Curry was doing a show in California, and a couple of times Mark couldn't get there. So one of those times when Mark could not get there because he was shooting his show, Steve came in. Settled everything. When he did that joke, the house laid out in the aisles. Laid out.
I remember that.
Because he was talking about somebody he had seen, a fighter or something
Fighter.
that was up in Harlem and stuff.
Yep. I remember that.
That's one of my big memories of how that made such an impression on the Apollo. I guess upon the producers and stuff. You know, I saw Steve recently, and he told the whole story about how he didn't have nothing. He had a little bit of money in his pocket. He got that call to come to do the show, and he had enough money. He did a comedy show, did enough money to get a one-way ticket within, I think, 3 to 5 days, something like that, or maybe it was 3 to 5 weeks, something like that. One of them, he had the hosting. Once again, God, okay? Yep. So that's one of my biggest memories. Another one of my biggest memories is we were doing amateur night, and this woman, she was not very good. I have to say she was not very good. God bless her. She tried her best, but what she was doing was not received well. Let us put it that way. It was not received well by the audience. So they were booing her and stuff. And before Sandman could come get her, she turned around to the audience, stuck her butt out, and dropped a flop. That's one of my good memories. I'm sorry, Coop, but my child is texting me. I'm letting her know that I'm on a thing with you, and to.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay,
so then another memory I have, of course, is the amazing Lauryn Hill when she came and performed.
That's my favorite female artist. I was going to ask you about her personally. I think she was 13 when she showed up.
I think yes. Okay, now wait. She came on the amateur night, yes, when she was 13. But then she came back later.
That's right. That's right.
Oh. That young lady, okay, that's one. Now let me tell you another. The gospel singer, beautiful, tall, ran with Kirk, would sing with Kirk Franklin a lot. God, Kiki, this is her. Tall, beautiful.
Not Yolanda.
Yolanda Adams.
Yolanda Adams, yep.
Yolanda Adams. Sorry, yep. I'm knocking my computer over.
That's all right.
I'm used to doing this, but I get excited, I guess, when I talk about Yolanda Adams. Yolanda, I had just lost one of my dearest friends, a dancer, had just passed away, and they were having a memorial service for her here in Los Angeles, but I couldn't go because I had to go shoot the show. Yolanda came on the stage, came to perform on that show. She was on the stage singing, can't remember the song, but I was so full and stuff, I looked up. Just try to keep the tears and stuff. I looked up into the rafters of the Apollo, and there was my friend. There was my friend, bathed in a white light, which let me know she was okay, but that energy came to me through Yolanda Adams singing on the stage. And then, of course, whenever Kirk Franklin came, baby.
Tore it up. Tore it up.
You hear me?
Yep, we already know it.
Baby. And then, of course, we had the ones where the not the gangster, but the hard rock hip hop guys. Because at that time in the 90s, the hip hop was a little hard. It was angry because the artists were angry. The streets were reflecting, the music was reflecting what was going on in the streets and stuff. So sometimes we would have unruly audiences and stuff, throwing stuff and all like that. And one time something almost hit me. Well, Steve stopped the show. He said, hold up, stop, cut it down. He said, this young lady here pointed at me, he said, this is the queen of the Apollo Theater. She represents to a lot of young girls in this world something that they can become. You will not throw anything and hurt her. You would never want to me, but you will not hurt her. He said that, the cameras did, because they had stopped the cameras, but he said that to that audience. You talk about folks that said, woosah, they woosah. He had that ability, Steve had that ability to reach the audience. I guess because he was our longest running host, he had that ability to reach the audience and make us all understand, just like James Brown did when he was right after when they killed Dr. Martin Luther King, and he had to go to Boston, and everybody, he said, I thought that I'd get enough respect from my own people. That's exactly what Steve did. He said, this is the queen of the Apollo. This is our queen.
Yep.
You will not hurt her. And there was no dissension. There was no disrespect. And we went on. I'm sure the show would continue to be unruly, but they didn't bother. They didn't bother me. It's things like that. So those are some vivid memories. The woman that dropped her pants, Lauryn Hill, Steve with the eye, Sinbad. Sinbad once again established us as a host and co-host. He just, that man is so quick. He is so quick. He can just, all of them are. Rudy Rush was wonderful.
Yep.
Mark Curry was wonderful. Each one of them brought something special to the show.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, Kiki,
no more memories about Showtime.
but we got to talk about one more thing about Showtime.
What now?
I want you to peel the curtain back a little bit. How was it hours and minutes before the show started backstage? Was it like nerves flying around everywhere with the contestants plus yourself and the host at the time? How was it before the camera started rolling?
Now, Coop, understand, we would start taping about 5 o'clock in the evening, and we would finish most of the time about 1 or 2 in the morning, because we would shoot 3 to 4 shows per day.
That's
and
right.
Remember, we shot 12 shows in a chunk of 3 to 4 days. So it would either be 3 shows a day or 4 shows and pickups. So this was a very long night, and the audiences would come in, and we'd have to redo the audiences because some people had to leave. You had the early audience, then you had the later audience, which was some kind of more difficult to handle. But so it never was. The nervousness for me happened when I was still being a dancer and the person helping doing this over the heads with amateur night. But once I became an integral part and became like the co-host, the nerves were that, does the dress look all right? Is the hair all right? How's the makeup? Because I was so welcomed and loved by that audience that when I walked out, it was like a whoa,
Yep.
One time Steve called me, look at Kiki, she looked like she's a velvet jewelry box. I had on black velvet. He said, just a little velvet jewelry box, just sitting in that velvet rut. Man would say some crazy stuff, but each one of the hosts had something magnificent to say about me as they introduced me. So my nervousness, if it was there, was when we did the dance numbers.
Okay.
Sometimes if the dresses or the shoes or something was not really to my particular liking, that it would be represented well, that I would not have anything happen, that I would not trip and fall. A couple of times my feet got caught in the dresses and stuff, and I had to find a way. So the nervousness was not because of my my fear of facing the audience. A lot of it would come from the performance aspect, but it was a welcoming audience for me. It was a welcoming time. That theater holds history. You can feel it all around you. You can tell that it's special. You know, when it became a national landmark, which means they cannot ever tear it down. That was a joyous moment. A national landmark.
Yes.
It's just, and the Sutton family, which owned the theater, and how they embraced me, the production company from Western, how they embraced it, just was so much. Once again, Coop, I tell you this in all sincerity, I will never ever change my mind about this. This was God saying, little girl from Texas, little black girl from Texas, you've done everything your mama said do. You finished college, you gave her your degree, you've gone to dance, now you're trying to be something else. Here, baby, this is for you. Because that show, Coop, is the reason why I have everything I have today. That show launched me into the homes of everybody in this country.
Yes.
Friday, Saturday, or Sunday night for 17 years.
Wow. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, Kiki. Big shout outs to every cast, crew, every person that sat in the audience, every person that came on stage. Big shout outs to you.
All the designers that gave me clothes, all the
Yes.
designers, because they would just give me, because I was a little bitty thing. Coop, I was a little bitty thing. Okay, I'm 5'7", but I was like a 4 or 6 when we first started.
I remember.
Because I was a dancer, I was built. I was a dancer, a ballet dancer. I wasn't from the club. I was professionally trained.
Yep.
Okay, not that there's anything wrong with the club, because baby doll, everybody got to do what they got to do. But at that point, I was professionally trained in ballet, modern jazz, tap, all this stuff, dancing on Broadway. Right. So I was a little bitty thing, and designers' clothes are for an 8 generally. So I'd be pinned into stuff and pulled. And I wear a 6.5 shoe. That's a tiny foot.
Gosh, Kiki, your foot like this. No, I'm sorry, like this. What?
Jesus. Coop, shut up. Yes, I've been a 6.5 since I was in the 6th grade.
Wow.
I think I'm like a 6 3/4 now.
Easy shopping for you. That's what I'm talking about.
No. Guess what, dude? For that size, they make 5 or 6 to where they make 100 for 7 to 11. But 6.5 is a hard size to find. Once they sell them, they don't have no more.
But that's true too. That's true.
But I ain't complaining. I'm not complaining.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Now, Kiki, let's talk about your foundation that you got.
Oh, please,
you're doing something big time.
Yes,
and I'm gonna call it do you call it the KISS Foundation or do you say KIS?
I say KIS.
I heard two different ways.
When I'm talking amongst friends and stuff like that, people that know us, I'll say KISS Foundation. But the proper way to pronounce the foundation's name is the KIS Foundation Incorporated.
Okay, tell everybody about this corporation and tell them what it's about and how can everybody find more information about it.
Okay, I'll start from the last thing you asked me. Our website is www.thekisfoundation.org. O-R-G. thekisfoundation.org. www. That's our website. We're revamping it now, but there's still a lot of great information on this stuff, so you can find out exactly what we do, how we got together. But when I was dancing in New York, I had to go to the doctor for a medical checkup. Everybody on Broadway had to go. I was cool with whatever that was. I can't remember what that was happening, but I was cool with that. But as I was leaving the doctor's office, he said to me, by the way, you carry the sickle cell trait. I said, what's that? He said, don't worry, it'll never affect you. Totally incorrect. But check this out. I don't think he was being negligent. I don't think he was being negligent. I just don't think he knew any better. He did not know that much about sickle cell disease to give me any more information other than the trait. You don't really suffer from the trait because that was the way it was thought of then. We have since learned so much more. Let's fast forward to 2024 and there's so much more. But anyway, so when I came to Los Angeles, I went to a golf tournament with some friends. They had an organization called Celebrity Friends and Families for Sickle Cell Disease, Joanne and Glenn Turman. Glenn Turman, the fabulous actor Glenn Turman. You know who I'm talking about? Glenn Turman from Cooley High.
Yep.
I just say Cooley High because that's easiest, but he has done so much more. But anyway, he and his wife had that organization. They took a lot of us to the Bahamas to a golf tournament. And I sat there and listened to what the people were saying and had that light bulb moment. Said, wait a minute, that's what I have. So I went to them, which was the national organization that was based in Los Angeles at that time. I went to them and said, use me. Whatever you need me for, I carry the trait. I'm on a very successful TV show. I'm in everybody's home. Use me. So I was a celebrity spokesperson for the National Association for 10 years. And then in 2003, they moved to Baltimore, which said to me, okay, I ain't going to Baltimore. I'm not moving to Baltimore. I just got to LA. So I said, you have to start strike out on your own, Kiki, and advocate for this terrible disease on your own. So I had a bowling tournament on my birthday, July 15th, in the middle of the year, 2006. I had a bowling tournament and everybody, a lot of the people that's in television and film now, a lot of us came through New York together. So we knew each other. So when I said, y'all, I need you to come out. First of all, it's my birthday. I always have great birthday parties. So, but we're going to do bowling. And it was so successful that I did it again the next year. The next year was even more successful. And people said to me, okay, Kiki, this is something that you can do where you raise awareness, advocacy, and education about sickle cell disease, but you need to form a foundation so that you can get support from corporations and do more. And that's what I did. So in 2007, we formed the KIS Foundation with a celebrity-based board of directors, because those are who were sticking with me, my friends. Celebrity-based board of directors, and we have been going now. This is what 2004 this year, 5, giving it good. So we are almost 17, 18 years old. And we started with a big bowling tournament that I did for 12 years. And now we have a major golf tournament. But Coop, let me say this before we even get into all of these things are wonderful. Entertainment is wonderful. Bringing people together is wonderful. But the real purpose of what I do is to improve the social health and quality of life for those that are diagnosed with sickle cell disease, because they suffer daily. We call our sickle cell patients not trait. I carry trait, which is only one gene. Sickle cell, you have to have two genes, and it comes from both parents. Right. Two people that have the trait get together. Each child that they have has a 1 in 4 chance of having sickle cell disease, for which we still don't have a universal cure. That's true. Guess what? We're getting better. Things are getting better. This year they have developed, the FDA has approved gene therapy, a gene therapy program that we are now getting to where we can change this in the DNA before the child is born.
That's what I'm talking about. It has grown. I like this. We're getting closer and closer.
And those that are already here with sickle cell, they have a new medicine that will help them not have as many crises, help them get over it better. It's just so many things. If you go to the website, to my website, www.thekisfoundation.org, you will see the articles from the National Association that explain it clearly. I don't want to have anybody say, well, Kiki said this and Kiki said that. Go to the website. Yep. Where you have the real information from the Sickle Cell Disease Association of America. I have links to take you there, and you can find out all the things. Because like I said, yes, our foundation likes to improve the social health. Yep. We want to give our warriors a good time. That's what we do.
That's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen watching worldwide, make sure you go to the website. Not right now, because you're watching this interview. After the interview, go to the website, check out all the information. Please. See everything you need to see, because you may have a family member, an associate, a friend that could be going through all of this, and you can help them out by giving them the website or giving them the information off the website. That's true. Kiki, last segment of the show. It's called Take the Floor. You have up to 2 minutes to say whatever you want. No questions asked. Kiki Shepard, take the floor.
I thought I'd already done that.
You taking it again. Spotlight back on you. Christian's added more lights on the stage. It's on you now.
As I said before, thank you all so much. Thank everyone that has in any way contributed toward the health and wellness of any sickle cell warrior, sickle cell family, because it is a family disease. And I do want to say thank you to everyone that has followed me all of these years. I am humbled. I am really humbled to know. I saw a lady yesterday. I was at a memorial service for Kenton Battle, one of our beautiful entertainers that passed away. But we were at a memorial service, and this woman cried because she said she couldn't believe that she was meeting me because of what I meant to her as a young woman growing up, by what she saw me doing on Showtime at the Apollo. So I said thank you to everybody, and if any and everybody that I have made any kind of impression upon, that I've helped, that I hope that I have given young ladies something to look to say you can be a class act and still have a lot of fun. Get your education, know who you are. Don't let anybody tell you what your path is, because your path is your own. That's what my mama told me a long time ago. Your path is your own, baby. Don't let people tell you what you should do. And I have to say, I know I am one of God's children. I know I am. I just lost my sister, my younger sister, and my oldest niece on January 1st. Both of them passed, one in the morning and one in the evening. And our family is going through a lot right now. We're struggling with a lot, but I remain faithful because I know I am God's child. He is pouring into me with the foundation, with what I have a new show coming out called I'm a recurring character on a new show on Bounce TV called Mind Your Business. It first airs on June 1st. Bounce TV, y'all look at it. I play Mildred. I'm a real good friend to one of the main characters, Rolanda Watts. Wonderful actress. Once again, Mind Your Business on Bounce TV. And this week, tomorrow, as a matter of fact, I'm flying to New York because this Friday, I am going home to the Apollo Theater to introduce my great friend, Lunell, at her one-woman show at the Apollo Theater on Friday, April 26th. I am over the moon. God is in the blessed business, and I'm receiving it all. You hear me? Is it my 2 minutes up?
Your 2 minutes is up, Kiki. Good gosh.
I hope I got it all in.
You did, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, make sure you check out the website. Make sure you go to Bounce TV. Check out everything that Kiki is doing. Oh, real quick, Kiki, what's the best way everybody can follow you on social media to keep up with?
Oh, Instagram is at the TheKiki Shepard. I'm not Kiki Palmer. I'm Kiki, Kiki Shepard. At the KIKI on all my social media platforms. Okay. And if you're in New York, get your tickets to go see Lunel because we're going to rock the house.
That's what I'm talking about. Everybody, make sure you follow Kiki Shepard to keep up with the latest and greatest. Kiki, it was a pleasure having you on the show, and I would love to have you back on in the future.
I would love that too, Coop. Yes, we do well together.
Yes, we do. Uh-oh.
You
heard that, television world? This might be a new show that can happen. We do well together. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you keep up on the Big Scoop with Coop. My next guest on the Big Scoop with Coop is... You know how to announce my next guest. You better follow me on social media to find out what's coming up for the latest and greatest at Big Scoop with Coop. All right, until the next time on the Big Scoop with Coop. Peace.
Thanks, LaCheryl.